What's up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's happening? Let's see who roll up in the building. Let me see where this live take us this evening. You know, we got the new year approaching and all that. So it's a lot of, you know, out with the old, in with the new, on that type of time. It's a fresh new start of a new year approaching and all that. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, every day is a new day. And it don't necessarily have to be the new year to reboot, to restart, to refresh, to redo what it is that needs to be redone, and to move forward from that point. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Looking lean. I try to, well, not even that I try. I'm not even going to say I try. I demand oneself to be lean. Appreciate you for hitting that like button. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Oh, how do I feel about the keto and carnivore diet? Well, see how I look at it is like, I just look at it like that's just a particular way one chooses to eat. Now, taking on that way of eating, you see, it's doing without the carbs, right? More than anything. And then speaking of a carnivore, that would be somebody who just eats meat, protein. Me personally, that's not what I would ever do. And the reason, see, when we're talking about a carnivore, that just sort of to a degree alleviates vegetables. And I know for a fact the importance of the vegetables and the carbs, because carbs give you energy. So, I know people have their reasons why they take certain approaches to what it is, so-called diet-wise, in order to achieve certain goals, um, for themselves. Of course, I need my fruits, veggies, and carbs. I need that in my diet. Point blank, period. How I feel about it, I don't feel anyway. If it works for a person, hopefully they are able to benefit in the best way possible, and then they actually get the results, right? And that's one thing for sure, because whatever, do me a favor, close that door. Close that door real quick. Gray man. Gray man. Now close the door, I said. You get up and close the door. I'm asking you. Pardon me, y'all. Just close the doors. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing something right now. Close the door. Close the door. Close the door. In the meantime, yeah, close it. You about to use the restroom? Go ahead. Close the door though. Pardon me. So back to what we were saying. And what does an ab roller do? Great questions. Uncle Charlie, great questions. I think the ab roller, and speaking in the ab roller, let me tell you, I was actually just going over one of my videos one of my older videos, I got a whole live that I did with the ab roller, being that you mentioned it. I think the ab roller is fantastic. Great for your core, great for a good stretch. And in my opinion, it will allow one to gain strength, right? Especially being at the core is the center of strength. Your core is the mobility. The strength is a major strength factor in one's anatomy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the ab roll, and what it does is, again, when we're talking about your core, this goes beyond your abdominal wall. Your core is those fibers that coil around your rib cage, your lower back, your pelvic area, right? Underneath your arms and things, along with your soft tissues, these components of the makeup of your anatomy, right, are essentially what hold us together, right? Your skeletal system and all of that. And that's the beauty in how we're designed. And when we are educated and we have, the knowledge of ourself in terms of how intricate, for lack of a better term, in the way in which we're designed, we can appreciate and value this physical vehicle, right? And to do what's needed in order for us to function and operate at our optimum. You know what I'm saying? But back to what you mentioned about that ab roller. And I haven't utilized it as of lately. And I want to get back to it, and I actually have one, speaking of it. So, being that you mentioned that, I like to show and prove. But of course, because we don't just have a conversation about, and I've had this for years, speaking of the ab roller, all right? And it's probably time to get a new one, but I'm going to use this until. So, I had this one for years, and it's necessary for me to highlight that I had it for years, and that's because when we invest in certain workout equipment, we are able to get beyond what it is we spent in terms of the usage and the benefits that we will obtain from using such equipment. That's why I like with the dumbbells, the weights. If you buy weights, metal weights, steel, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna last forever. Forever. Weights will outlive you. You know what I'm saying? Like you will, the weights will be here long after we're gone. That's the beauty of of investing in something that it's the gift that keeps on giving. Literally. But of course, one has to gift themselves what it is to obtain, But yeah, and I watch that guy, Old Dog Fitness. You should hook up with him and do a podcast. We worked out together a couple of times, you know. Very another example of an older gentleman and somebody who's very fit, and again a prime example that there's no limitations upon age. But I appreciate you. Big shout out to Old Dog. I was supposed to link up with him, and life just gets in the way, in terms of us being able to do so. And for sure, again, fit over 60, you know what I'm saying? Incredible, How do you feel about the full body workout machine at Costco for $500? I'm not sure. I didn't see that. I don't know what kind of machine. Um, I don't know what kind of machine it is. Now, I'm gonna tell you this though. This is what I can say for sure though, Charlie. I would have to see the type of uh design, and not just the design, but how sturdy the material is, right? Because let me give you an example. There's a difference between those weight benches from back in the day, like with the cement weights, and the very narrow stilts that actually hold the barbell, right? And when you re-rack the weights after doing your set, now on the back, so it's the difference between that bench and the Olympic benches. So the Olympic benches, bench press, uh, with is more uh it's the gym, like, so when you re-rack the weights, the you won't, so it's the part where you re-rack it, the I don't know what you call it, but it's it's higher, to where basically when you re-rack the weights, you'll be able to put it on the rack safely, where you won't just throw the weights over the bar, if you will. Now, again, back to that what you said about the workout machine at Costco. I would have to see how sturdy that machine is, and like how is it um installed in your home or what have you, because you do have certain, now workout equipment is workout equipment. However way you use it, it is going to determine the benefits you can gain from it. But when you got like wobbly, let's say like some of these pull-up bar stations that you could just stand up in your living room or in your backyard. A lot of them, some of them are very wobbly. Me personally, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not something that can be, screwed into the ground, you know what I'm saying? Something that, when I'm actually working out, I don't have to be distracted or taken off focus because I'm dealing with a piece of equipment that's lopsided, and again wobbly and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really. Again, I would have to see how that particular workout equipment at Costco, as you mentioned, what you know how well it could be installed, or how how strong the foundation of that equipment is able to uphold, especially when we're talking about the human body and doing pull-ups. So if you can give some feedback on is it a calisthenic equipment? Keep up the good work. I've seen you working out. I'm proud of you. Appreciate you. Always work, always working out for sure, you know. And so speaking of working out, I said, you know what, let me go live today. I wanted to, holler back at y'all again because me and my son wanted to we attempted. We didn't just want to. We attempted. We was out there. We was all set up and we actually started alive, where, the goal was to complete 400 squats with him on my shoulders. And I ended up getting a phone call. And what happens is when I go live and the phone call comes in, it causes the live to go mute. So what I have to do is what I learned. I have to go out the live, come back in, and then the sound to come back. So when that happens, it has nothing to do with the microphone, the mute button. So where I dropped the ball because I got a phone call twice. I went out the live. I text the person like, "Yo, I'm live right now," and um, afterwards I thought I was good, but I noticed that I didn't have no traffic in the live, so I just kind of thought that nobody was in the building, but I still have to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm there to complete what it is that the task at hand with the workout. So I was very disappointed that what happened was I was like talking. Me and him, we did the work. We did the video, and the video cut off earlier than I anticipated or wanted it to, out of my control. And so when I went back, I said I wasn't mad. But what happened was when I went to look at the video myself, it was only like a minute. So basically, the live looked like it was successful with the recording. But when I went back and looked at the video, it was only a fraction at the point of where that phone call came in, and then I wasn't recording what I thought the entire time. The beautiful thing is, and I appreciate y'all hitting that like button. The beautiful thing is that the work was done. That's without a doubt. So yeah. Now, listen, that's not gonna prevent me from, redoing that. Now, we still have a live up on the channel right now where I got an entire routine with my son where we completed 400 squats. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't the first time. So, and that's why I'm really, sort of not fazed by today, not being successful. I wanted to share that though. So I wanted to holler back at the people, come on live, have some dialogue, and I'm not letting that prevent me from connecting with the community. You are. Word. I'm proud of you too. Next time you talk to Old Dog Fitness, can you ask him if he could do some more questioning lives? I missed. I think he has been though. Last I seen, he's been doing those collaborations. He's always been doing those collaborations. So go check out always go his channel. What I mean, it's gonna give you all the questions that what I'm saying you need answered. To be honest with you, word for sure. $400 squats is a lot. Never mind what a human being on your shoulders. All right, I'm proud of you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, 400 squats. I like those. I like big numbers. I like those high reps. I like high reps. So speaking of 400 squats, after we left the park, I came home and then I completed, because I still was fired up. I still had plenty in the tank. So what I ended up doing was I did 25 sets of 25. I did 25 sets of 25 reps, which equates to 625 reps within the entire routine, and I felt great after that, you know. So yeah, I definitely got the wanted working out that, you know, I was so hungry for today, you know. And then you know, now I'm just kind of like cooling out or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna do some reading. I'm gonna read a little bit for the evening and all that. Huss, Fresh, what's happening? Bear, you already know that polar bear weather. We be out there, Fresh, without a doubt. I was just sharing with the chat, you know, earlier, me and my son, we attempted to, you know, get this live, you know, going and give a great demonstration of how, and basically the live was about being able to
What's up, y'all? We have tried to complete 400 squats and end up at 260.
right.
We tried to succeed, but we were still out there in the polar bear weather. My hands were freezing, but I had to take it what I had to take.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He said, "What's up, little Sav? You heard?" Yeah, I keep mine close, y'all. So whether we doing squats on my shoulder or he just in the park or we had, you know what I'm saying? You know, I got a whole video speaking of my son, right? Nah, it's not. You know, he good, fresh. What's your name?
I'm Grayson.
Yeah, nah, we ain't tripping off of that. You know what I mean? It's all positive over here. Yo, fresh. If the government got any attention over here, they wasting their time. You heard? Believe that. They wasting their time. What you about to say?
I already did this. It was freezing when I was 5.
What you did? What you tell them? What you did? You gotta
Oh,
explain to
I
them.
was on my dad's back and then did 400 squats and then
Who did the squats though?
Daddy, because
Right.
I can't carry basically my dad because
Right.
he is heavier than me.
Right.
So
Right.
we had to like switch a room.
Right, so I had to, yeah, he had to do the squats with me. So go check out that squat video, y'all, for those who haven't seen it or um, don't know that that is actually an entire video on the channel. And what I was saying too, what I was saying on that live, which I thought was, you know, recording, because this is the thing, though, right? I'll take a clip from the video, make a short out of it, okay? But the demonstration, which makes it powerful, is that it's a clip from an actual workout. This is not
Basic.
no, hold on. This is not within the moment. I have my son get on my shoulders, do one set of squats, and make it seem like, you know, it's more than what it really is. No, we really out there. You know, when the weather is the way it is right now, I think that we should still have our children outside active. You know, for anyone, just because it's cold outside shouldn't prevent one from taking the time out to get fresh air still, right? Go out there prepared, dress warm. You know, I'm not saying you could stay out there all day like it's the summer, right? We have to be realistic, you see? But the thing is that it's great for our immune system. It builds us up, right? And at least for me, I'm still in a space of enjoyment, even within a temperature that is not so comfortable. But that's just me. I don't expect everyone to operate on a frequency as such as me. But for those who can appreciate it or can resonate with, embracing the elements during this time of the season, salute to you, because I'm super with it. I'm going to be out there as if it's spring, straight up. And I enjoy it because it actually gives me more of a focus due to the park being less occupied. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Look up what they do with infants in Norway. They let them take naps in 0-degree weather. Wow. That's different. Yeah, I gotta look that up, Fresh. That's interesting, That's interesting. But yeah, so I was disappointed earlier that, that video, didn't go in my favor. But we definitely put the work in. And but besides that, I want the people to know, and it's obvious, but I want me to be consistent at every chance I'm able to get to go live or to post in general, because the consistency is gonna give those that reminder, if needed. Are you staying the course? Okay? And I've been working lately in terms of the working out. Let me tell you something. This is what I like to really drive home, that my engine is on full throttle. Phenomenal feeling when you feel as if your engine is not just feeling, when your engine is in a state, of operating and functioning in a brand new frequency within. And I really, really like to highlight that. And not just with my words. I wanted to also just share with you all, those who may struggle with those thoughts that will cause you to talk yourself out of getting that next workout session. Keep your foot on the pedal. Appreciate you, Fresh. Click that like and interact. Sev reads all comments. Huss. That's a fact. So if you got a question, holla, ask. But yeah, so I wanted to just let that be known too. Out here getting to it constantly. So yeah, today I was disappointed that footage, went beyond or failed beyond my control. But it's gonna be a next time. It's definitely gonna be a next time, Sure. Because we out here. And I wanted to also share what I've been doing lately. I've been doing a lot of burpees. But that's inevitable. I got so many burpee videos on my channel. You know, again, it's knitted in my being. But you know, with the new year, no, don't start that right now. Don't start that right now.
I didn't know anyway.
Yeah, don't start that right now. So as I was saying, you know, with the new year approaching, you know, before, you know, January is actually here, let's get busy now. You know, let's get busy now. But we are definitely, you know, at a point that 2025 is on its way out. It's on its way out. So the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, let's just throw them in the trash. All right? Let's start fresh. You know, salute. We're approaching getting mid-season form. It's a fact. Mid-season. Mid-season. And let's speak about mid. Mid would be what? In the middle. Right? So there is more room to put forth what is needed to take advantage of the time. So when we're talking about mid-season, before the weather starts to get warmer. See, this is a beautiful time of the year, right? Because you're wearing more clothing, right? The days are the daylight, not the days, but the daylight is shorter. But this is a time where we do what we're working on ourselves. Chill out. Chill out. See, this not going to work right now. Matter of fact, just put the ball to the side because I'm doing something. But I still, parenthood, y'all. Y'all get it. You know what I'm saying? He's 7 years old. But at the same time, the noise right now, it can't be happening. So again, this is a time in the year where, and when I say the daylight is shorter, it's like this. I'm giving an analogy, right? What's in the dark, in a positive sense, blossoms, and then it's revealed in the light. So this is the time where now, especially with the holiday seasons have passed. Christmas is over. Thanksgiving has passed for those who celebrate. The holidays are now behind us. You did all the eating, you did all the drinking, you partook in all the extra recreational things that come along with this time of the year. And now it's time to get back to the work if you have not been consistent. And this is what I'm getting at. And the analogy that I'm making is with this time in which we're outside less. This is where we work on the working out, to doing the things behind the scene before we are in the time in which, go in the room now. Now I'm telling you to go in the room. Now I'm telling you, don't come back out until I'm finished. Because this is serious. All right? Go in the room. Close the door. So this is a time in which, again, before spring arrives, right? So the analogy that I'm making is that we're getting back to the roots of which is going to blossom, not just in the physical, but in the mental. Again, that fresh start. So it doesn't have to be just working out, working on whatever craft, whatever talent. I'm just saying this is the time in which a lot is still going on yet behind the scenes in the gym, because life is still taking its course. But during those warmer seasons is where the work is revealed, right? We're wearing less clothes. We're out and about. We are more in socially populated environments because everybody is out and about. So it's just in that sense, right? But this is a time, again, when I say getting back to the roots, is to sort of take advantage of focusing on what it is that one needs to further advance, and whatever that may be, fitness, education. You see what I'm saying? And that's due to the weather gives us no choice but to be indoors. There's nothing going on outside right now unless you got to run errands. So while we in our homes, we could further research. Even though it gets darker earlier, it is still a great amount of time to our advantage. It's 5:15 right now. It's very dark outside, but yet very early. You see? And that's the beauty of it. What gets you fat? Some people says carbs get you fat, and some people says fats get you fat. Thank you. Good question. Again. So let's break that down. Carbs will definitely get you fat. If somebody, and let's just simplify it. If somebody has a bowl full of rice, pasta, along with whatever else consists of that meal, and that's a usual. So without working out, let's go down. Let's go through the layers just a little bit, right? Depending on a person's makeup, your body type. I'm going to use myself as an example. Carbs will make me fat. I am a naturally husky guy. I gain weight easier than I'm able to keep the weight off. And I've been doing a very good job at doing so by keeping the weight off. Let's start there. That's where I'm going to start at. if I do not work out the way that I do, and if I do not control the portions, I eat carbs all the time. But the carbs don't affect me the way it would affect somebody who doesn't work out, point blank, period. But then you got different types of carbs. You got rice, you got pasta, you got sweet potatoes, you got regular potatoes, right? But if somebody is not active, I just got to keep it plain and simple. If one is not active, those carbs are going to snowball into somebody becoming fat. That's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have skinny people that can eat whatever they want and not gain weight, but then besides getting fat, it's still a situation that can compromise one's health. Because you don't have, just because one is not necessarily fat, doesn't mean that they're not going to deal with health complications by eating the foods that are more prone to one gaining weight. You know what I'm saying? And then you have, like you said, and some people say fats get you fat. So you have fatty food like avocado. That's a healthy fat. But then too much of avocado is not good either. And avocados are very dense, and I eat those a lot, mostly with my tuna fish. And they keep my skin glowing, by the way. Them avocados are the truth. I think it's high in B vitamins, if I'm remembering correctly. Very good. It's a power food, them avocados. So my answer for you, and I'm just using myself as an example, especially me being a person that gains weight easy, I have to really monitor my portion. And this is something that is an everyday structure in the way in which I portion out my food. But I would say those who are not active, well, you're gonna get fat by eating too much. And that's just a big problem with a lot of people. Let me tell you something. It's guys smaller than me that eat way more than me. Way more than me. If you've seen the amount of what I consume with my meals, you would think that I ate like a child. And it works for me. I've been able to maintain a weight of 170 pounds within the last two years, being that we're now approaching the new year. So since 2024, that's where about I hit the mark of getting down to the 170 from about 205. If you look at my earlier videos, I was heavier then. I was less defined. Last year, I would say I was like at my leanest. Last year, I was like 168, the smallest. 168. And I don't want to get no smaller than that. And especially because I won't, it don't look right on me. You know, I still need to, you know, have more body muscle mass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, that was perfect though. 168 was perfect for me. You know? Can you please take us through a full day of eating for you and your cardio and workouts? Thanks. Absolutely. Absolutely. And great questions. And I appreciate your interest. So I start off every day. I kid you not. Every single day with an apple and peanut butter. And I get the peanut butter that has salt and peanuts, no palm oil, nothing. And I start my day off with that every single day. And on the weekends, I'll have the oatmeal, peanut butter, banana. But more than anything, I'm starting there. An apple and peanut butter every single day. I eat, within a month, I eat 30 apples and more, because sometimes I'll do it twice in a day. Now, that's how I start my day. And I'll have that about 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay? And then I'll have lunch about 12 o'clock. Sometimes later. And it's after just a peanut butter and an apple. Then I'll have lunch. Maybe have some carbs, some rice, some chicken, some veggies. I always incorporate those vegetables, y'all. Every day. More than any, I don't care if it's just salad. And I'm not talking about any salad. I'm talking about baby spinach, arugula. If you're gonna get lettuce, get the romaine lettuce. Kale. All right? So this will be lunch. And then for dinner, it will be pretty much the same thing. So I have my protein, my veggies, and my carbs. Now with the cardio, and that's what helps me really keep that fat at bay. I do a lot of plyometric exercises. I am a fan of cardio. A lot of people, it's rare that you'll hear that. To my understanding, I rarely hear guys, and not just guys, but guys in particular. And the reason why I say that, because as men, you know, it's about getting big, gaining size, muscle, and I get all that. I love that. Love being muscular. But me understanding my body, I know that I have to be leaner. And I don't just do cardio for the sake of being lean per se. I think that cardio is a phenomenal contribution to your heart, to your organs, to your mobility factor of your makeup, your joints. I do a lot of jumping squats. I do a lot of jumping jacks. I don't see no guys doing jumping jacks in the gym. To each his own. I never see nobody doing burpees in the gym or in the park, at least where I occupy performing my workouts. I just want to say that. I do a lot of jump roping. that miracle rope is a phenomenal piece of equipment. I'm a big fan of cardio. I do cardio and then I'll go strength train. That's just me. And it helps me stay lean. I am able to see my vascular much better. I could see I could sort of see the V taper, which I've never seen in my entire life until my 40s. Hear me loud and clear. And this is why I emphasize how you, if depending on your age, you could become a brand new individual without a doubt. But we have to be realistic. And what I mean by that is consistency. Not for 2 weeks, not for 90 days. I get it. These are what are told to people. And me personally, I think that is more of trying to convince one that you will accomplish so much in such a short amount of time, and I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I'm telling you, and I'm a prime example, that in my mid-40s is the first time that I seen anything revealed as in a V taper in my waist. Huss. It's a fact. And I'm gonna say this again. And I like to be well-rounded. Cardio, weight training, plyometrics, I love it all. I love the jog, and I don't use any music. I go off of my own vibe. I go off of my surrounding sounds within where I am planted. When I'm in the gym, I'm so focused and locked in on my workout, I don't even hear the music in the gym. I don't even hear it. I see people, and I'm not focused on anybody, but being aware of my surroundings, they're on the phones. And that's not working out to me. That is not working out. If you're on your phone, and if you're not checking it just for make sure there's no emergencies taking place, and you're looking at that phone 10, 15 minutes, you having a conversation for 10, 15 minutes, and then you go back to your next set, that's not working out. You're hanging out. It's keeping it a beam. Straight like that. What kind of work do you do for a living? Thank you. Motivation sparks the start, but consistency builds the bridge to Consistency builds the bridge to success. That's a fact. Again, consistency. And what do I do for a living? I'm a courier of auto parts. I sell handmade jewelry. I do moving jobs. I work for a company. I make my own money. I have other endeavors. I want to I want to get my certification for personal training. Before we had to go into quarantine, I took a course at Hofstra University over here in Uniondale. I'm from Long Island, New York. I have my commercial Class A permit. I could go for that. So it's so many things. Since you asked, I'm a man of elevation. Prior to the job that I work now, I was installing gutters on people's homes. I was apprentice installing gutters that channel the water off of your roof. And that's why I have to be in shape. And since you asked that question, because I'm going to keep it a stack with you, I can't afford not to be in good health. Because whether you are successful or you're one way, point blank period, you have to have good health. You can have all the money. You could be filthy rich and be pegged with limitations. Knee surgery, hip replacement, this, that, and the third. So let me go back to these questions. You know what I'm saying? We here. We here tonight. What's up? You think weighing more makes you stronger? That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. Yo, come on now, y'all. Yo, shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the chat, y'all, with y'all great questions, man. Truthfully, man. So, again, I was asked by Dog Fitness, you think weighing more makes you stronger? No. No. I think that if you are a heavier person in weight and you don't work out and you never did work out, it can actually make you weaker. Why I say that? Because if you are heavy and can't do a push-up, you can't even do a push-up, that weight is more of a burden on the individual than it actually, again, it's more of a burden. But then yet you do have some big heavy guys that are very strong. But this is the thing. How many big guys that you know who can't even lift heavy? And I'm not talking about weights at the gym. Who can't move a refrigerator, a stove, just ordinary things that a man should be able to harness within the household for his family. Moving the couch. You got big guys that, let's call it what it is, physically, they're useless. And this is what I'm saying, right? So in the summertime, I do moving jobs, right? At times. And that's my pre-workout. I'm moving couches and, heavy objects through narrow doorways effortlessly. I can hold things in place for a long duration of time and not be wiped out. At my job, when I leave work and I take care of what I'm supposed to, parent-wise, and then after I go to the gym, I'm leaving work. I'm at work. And on the forefront of my mind, after responsibility is tend to, I'm excited to do hundreds of burpees. And that's why I'm so animated and passionate and share with you all this feeling that is priceless, that I earned. Sheer energy. No supplements, and I don't say that to throw shit. I don't care what people choose to do. And when I see young men in the gym with energy drinks, I'm like, wow, you don't even need that, bro. In my mind, though, because I don't get nobody's business. If you're not paying me, if I'm not your trainer, it ain't nothing I could tell you unless somebody genuinely had a cut. Now, it's not that I don't have conversations, but if I have the opportunity, let's just say that. If I have the opportunity to share with the individual that you do not need that, it's my pleasure. Straight like that. It's my pleasure. And see, this is why when we are knitted with fitness, let me go back to what I was saying too. I don't want to be all over the place. But again, I just want to go back to that question. Do you think weighing more makes you stronger? No. Let me tell you something. And you have some small guys out here that are strong as oxes. I've seen it. When you've been around, whether in the gym, in the park, or just being an individual where you could pick up on what the next man is made of. Because you have to acknowledge strength. I'm aware of what I'm up against. I don't know about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we live in a very competitive world. All right? So when we live in a very competitive world. So you want to be very aware of other people's abilities. I'm not saying focus on others like being nosy and none of that. I'm talking about you got to size up your competition straight like that. But yeah, so I don't think that weight. Now, let me not leave this out. when we're talking about weight between people who work out, yes, weight is a factor. That's why, like in boxing, you can't put a heavyweight against a lightweight, featherweight, so on and so forth, right? Because weight does give an advantage in that sense. But solely because somebody is bigger doesn't make them stronger. Because again, I know a lot of big guys, and it's like, get out of breath quick, straining, wiped out. And this is when when you fit and when you in shape and when you doing ordinary tasks and moving about, you not wiped out. Again, you could go to work, be active the entire day and still have plenty left in your tank. That's what fitness does for me. And that's why I always say, and you hear me say it all the time, I feel better than I did when I was 18. I feel better than I did when I was 21. And I mean that. I feel that. I told y'all, I didn't even know, I never did a burpee until, 3 years ago? Burpees is new to me. And I've done so many up until this point that I've made up for all the years that I didn't do burpees. You heard me? Burpees are new to me. And I've done so many within a few year time span that makes up for years of not doing burpees. Again, in my mid-40s. And that's a very taxing exercise. It will make one pass out. It can make you throw up. It can make you give up and not ever want to do them again. That's how powerful those exercises are. Let me read something else, y'all. I hope I've been answering y'all questions. Are men supposed to know what to do with him or herself, period? Another good question. Are you supposed to know? Yes and no. Yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no, you could start off with thinking you want to do a certain thing, start it, invest whatever time, and then realize it may not be for you. And then you could get introduced to something that you had no idea, had no anticipation of doing it in the first place, and then it unlocks something in you and it just takes you in a whole direction that you never thought for the better. So and that's the beauty of life, right? So the thing about that is this, though, right? When we aren't sure what it is that we want to do, don't have an idea, but then there has to be something of interest that would be the spark to lead you in the path of being able to obtain what it is that you're wired to be, if you will, right? So sometimes and there's layers to that too, right? Because and I want to say this though, right? Because depending on a person's upbringing, and I have to go there, right? When we're talking about what it is that we know what we should be doing, or should we know? Sometimes we just don't get it in the beginning. All right? Sometimes we just don't get it in the beginning. But then, one thing for sure, we still are responsible for participating in life, right? So certain things that, so let me just say this with people's upbringing. Let me not jump all over the place because I need to work on this too, y'all. When we're talking about a person's upbringing, when we're young, kids are given a great amount of encouragement, right? School, teaching, learning. We are introduced to many different subjects, many different crafts, we're introduced to many different sources of what may be the attracting factor to how we're already made up, right? And I have to mention about when we're young again, because some people's dreams get crushed early on, right? So when we're talking about a person who has a certain gift, talent, something that you're good at, right? It could be uplifted, or it could be it could sort of be taken away from an individual. So that's just one aspect. And then you have talented people, right? I'm just giving a couple of scenarios. Then you have talented people or gifted people that they're so good at something early on, or they're so that their own gifted talent is like sort of boring to them, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I understand what I'm trying to say here. So it's many different layers to what propels us in life, and what prevents us from being able to tap into something that could be the very thing that continuously grows in our life for the better, right? So fitness for me is that thing, right? That it's a lifestyle. Like, I could envision myself from this point now at 80, not probably doing hundreds of burpees, but this is a hunger, an appetite, a fire that just increases every workout. Is a motivating factor to do more. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just answering that question. Are we supposed to know? Sometimes we just don't know from early on. And this is the beautiful thing about life. So, because that's a lot. That's a simple question, but it could be very loaded in a sense of why people may or may not be able to flourish, right? Now, I'm going to say this too, right? I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell you a quick, just a very, very short story. It was a gentleman who used to go to the rec center in my neighborhood. And he was strong. And they used to call him Hercules. This dude was, at that time, we was young. We was teenagers. And this dude, sheer strength, benching 315 like water. And this kid was strong, man. And he lost his mind over the years. I'm talking about totally lost his mind. Homeless, like smoking cigarettes, like, I mean, nonstop. I'm just saying, like, picking up cigarette butts. Just, and that's the important thing of having a strong mind. So I had to share that part. I brought that up, especially the time that we live in now. With his strength, he could be on social media right now. And I'm not just saying just strength, because when it comes to, content, it's, there's a lot of things involved, character and whatever it is that, will take you to certain levels in this whole social media space. But nonetheless, I'm just saying, I've seen many individuals that early on in life, again, like I was saying, where they were in the gifted class, let's say in elementary, middle school, high school, I've seen it. Early on, great things going on in their life, and then whatever happened after that point, it took a turn for the ultimate worst. Drugged out of their minds, walking around in the streets as if they've been out there for 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to answer that question in that sense, right? Are we supposed to know off the gate sometimes that's just not the case. But again, if we are searching, if we are seeking that in which we are able to help, and not just help, but to obtain that in which we finally arrive to that certain point, don't lose sight of that. So what I mean, don't lose sight of that is reading, networking, whatever, be in environments where you just may never know. It's something you never imagined that could take hold of you, and there you have it. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can answer that. I could say, but just don't give up on having the outlook of something that you may try something. You feel me? Like, that's just what it is. Explore. And I'm just going to leave it at that with that question. So basically, I was asking, does the man need, I'm going back to it. Is a man supposed to know what to do with himself, period? But at the same time, let me not leave this out. A man should know, at least if career-wise or things of that nature you don't know, but we should know that we have to save money, invest. You know, we need to know the importance of taking care of oneself, right? And to constantly be, we have to know that it requires us to do our due diligence with learning what, especially nowadays with the resources of social media and having some direction of how to establish a lifestyle for ourselves. So yes, we should know. And that knowing is learning. If we don't know, nobody knows anything from before actually learning. Right? So, right, as they say, write down questions we have for ourselves. How do I apply for a home? What do I need to, start saving, get a bank account? All these fundamentals of establishing the foundation of life to be able to live autonomously, right? Things of that nature. So anyway, y'all get my point on that though. So just don't give up seeking. Don't give up on yourself. And don't allow age to place limitations. Whatever it is that we invest our time in and think, and anything we invest our time in and doing the research, learning, it can be done. At least know that. I know I was long-winded with that one. I'm just saying. So we should know, and that knowing is seeking, learning. Finding out, exploring. One way or another. You know what I'm saying? I was 325, now 180. I agree. Wow. So I wanted to go back. Well, this is a new question that first of all, big shout out to you. And Uncle Charlie, if you still in the building, I would like to know, how long did it take for you to lose that weight? So you're talking about 325 and now 180. I mean, we're talking about, that's a huge chunk off the block. A huge chunk off the block. So if you still in the building, if you come back in the chat, I would like to know. Don't you just love when you go to the gym and he's fat? Guys think they're all muscles, but take the shirt off. Let's see what you got. They ain't got no six-pack, bro. That's a fact. And I agree with you on that. And I used to be that guy. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. And it took me, again, many years to really want to change that about myself, to be honest with you. And one of the things was, and I said this before, I came home from up north, and a chick I was involved with said to me, she said, all that work, she said, all that time you did, all that working out that you did, or you claim that you did, she said, and you don't even look like you was working out. She said, you don't even have a six pack. And that's what she told me. So I wasn't offended. I didn't like hearing that about myself, right? Definitely didn't. And I might have even been offended for good reason. And I should have been offended, right? And not offended to where I you know, get down and out on myself, but it really made me want to change for the better. And I had to agree. Now, constructive criticism or not, when we are presented with someone else's opinion or truth and what they perceive you, or the truth, right? Not just perception. If it's obvious, we don't run away from what's being said to us. But from that point is what we do with what's being told to us. And so, yes, I see guys in the gym or in general, muscular and with a stomach, you know, or are still fat. That's a real thing. Me personally, I like to be well defined now. And again, I'm going back to, like I said earlier, in my mid 40s is the most shredded I've ever been in my entire life. And I have to emphasize that to prove that age does not have to hinder you from reaching those goals that you thought could not be obtained. And I don't think, me personally, if you are muscular and you have a big stomach, first of all, carrying weight in your stomach is the worst place to carry fat. You can look that up. That's like the worst place you can carry fat. And I'm not just saying that. I took a nutrition course, all right? And how I know this is that they have a pear-shaped person, and I think this is an apple-shaped person. So you could be heavy, right? You could be fat. But if you carry the weight more in like your legs and your glutes, but you're a little more, like you don't have a big stomach, that's what you call a pear-shaped person. And then you have like the apple shape, if I'm remembering correctly, that was like 6 years ago that I took this course. And it was the comparison between the two in terms of where a person carries the fat, and then your stomach is the worst place where somebody carries fat. And that's how I know it's a fact, because I do my research. Speaking of me doing my research, I have to even go further. I got to get back to my text. I got to get back on my square with the information, because I want to make mention of this too. It's not so much of the physical aspect of, getting satisfaction and feeling good about yourself. It's really the education of what the detailed factors of everything about us, and these points being made of where fat has more of a negative effect of where we carry it, things of this nature. And that should also be, again, education-wise, a motivating factor of wanting to do better for ourselves. That's why I say don't smoke and drink nothing. But I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to convince. I'm going to share. We all need to hear something great, though. I, too, like to hear new things. I don't know everything. I'm still on the path of figuring out many of things in my own life, because I'm not going to never get on here and act like all my ish is together. And it's not. It's not. So I share that, especially being that when we're talking about age, when we're talking about the very question that was asked, are we supposed to know? You're asking a person who's still on a journey of so much more to achieve, obtain, to learn. I'm a student of life. But I do have the wisdom. I do have what it is that I have gathered along the way, and have plenty to share, to resonate, or to get feedback to further enlighten me, right? There's been times people come to the chat and you have ideas, you have suggestions, you have recommendations, you have strong points that are a contribution to me. This is an organic channel in the sense of ain't no fronting over here. But he said, do I love when I love going? I don't love seeing none of that. But I'm gonna tell you this though. Again, like I said, for many years, and I've I've never taken off my shirt. Speaking of that, I'm still on that question. Talking about taking the shirt off, having a big stomach and all that. For years, I didn't take off my shirt in public. The only time I took off my shirt in the gym is when I had a pump and I had a stomach. I never had a six-pack revealed due to me being in shape earlier on. I never took off my shirt. I didn't start wearing shorts until about 4 years ago. I never wore shorts because I wasn't fond of what I looked like. And I share that because that's something that so many people battle with to this day. I gotta run, G Money. Like I said, nice talking. Get a hold of Old Dog and do a question and ticket. God bless. All right, Uncle Charlie, appreciate you. I didn't even realize you left the building, but you know, you catch the playback. Happy New Year to you too. Word. Bro got that sip. I'm just trolling my dude. I hope you're doing well. And maybe next year bring you many blessings and your dreams be achieved. You're ducking. I don't know what you mean by that. You control. And yeah, you can say I got that 7 head. And I'm glad. I love when y'all say that. Let me tell you something. And hear me loud and clear. You got people in, not only on social media, you got people in real life, men in particular, hear me loud and clear, men who never take off their hat, who never take off their do-rag, who never take off their beanie. Come on now. So, yo, listen. And this is the beautiful thing. This is why I invite those comments. Because I want my people to know. I want the community. I want the fam to know. They out there. See, it ain't just about the internet. People are critiquing you negatively in real life. I'm not worried about what they say on the internet when I come on here. You look like a kangaroo, your hairline and that. But go back to my videos when my hair was nice and braided. I'm in my mid-40s. I had to cut that. It took me to my mid-40s. I ain't got a bunch of gray hair. I got a few. You know what I'm saying? But my hair low and all that. Yo, I'm far from washed up. Let me make that be known. See, but I work on me. I want to be and feel comfortable in my skin. As we all should. But this goes beyond the internet. So for the very people that come in the chat and you make comments about whether it's me or anybody else, especially those who are doing what we need to improve, enhance oneself, and the results show. And I got missing teeth on the side of my mouth. But when you look at my teeth that are still in my mouth, they pearly white. Because I brush my teeth well. See, I lost these on the side from eating a bunch of candy. You know, let's talk about it. And I still have the audacity to create a YouTube channel and bring forth and share with the world what it is I choose to. So it's interesting when people have these negative comments. But like I said before, if I didn't work out, if I didn't do what it is that I do thus far, I'd really be in bad shape. When we're talking about celebrities that's getting surgery to have a six-pack and all that, and I'm really doing the work. Why would I be fazed by what somebody's saying in a chat negatively about me when what I do is priceless? Let's talk about it. But anyway, let me get back. Let me see who else is. Nah, I can't speak Arabic. I ain't. Bro, talk about semen retention. Bro, you don't look 40, you look 30. Appreciate you. We could talk about semen retention. I think that that's a good thing. I just look at I don't when it comes to semen retention, first of all, it ain't something that's gonna give you like superpowers. Let's just be clear. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that it's a very catchy conversation, and it does have benefits. What I would say about semen retention is that it's a very, very high level of discipline and restraint from partaking in masturbation or to flirt with the things that will entice you or get you riled up to do so. There also is being able to apply the energy that one would be releasing from themselves or in general, intimate wise or what have you, and you can take the energy from masturbation and apply that into something that will improve your life. You know what I'm saying? I think that, again, like anything, is discipline, consistency. And speaking of that, and I would say, and this is another thing, stay away from P-Hub. You know what I'm saying? Once in a while, there ain't nothing wrong with intimate, if you got your lady or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But if you really serious about discipline and reserving your energy for a better workout, for concentrating on your studies or what have you, on your craft, and doing something else with your time other than watching P-Hub, and I would say refrain from that. But I would say that it's one of the highest forms of discipline, being that it is a natural urge to do so. And again, even with that, I once had a problem with, you know what I'm saying, with that. Even with access to being intimate with a woman, still, it was a habit. And I'm going to be, again, very transparent since that question was brought about. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got to say about semen retention. You know what I'm saying? If you could refrain from masturbation, you could, again, put that energy into something that will improve your life in other areas. You know what I'm saying? And make you strong in your workout. Yeah. So this was a beautiful chat though, y'all, for sure. And super duper active. As always, today, I did complete, like my son said, we did 260 squats. I was so disappointed that the video, the live, wasn't successful, you know. Plus, he got cold too, so we didn't complete. The goal was for 400 squats, so we ended up leaving the park. And I came home and I hit the upper body. I got my push-ups in, so I did the 625 reps. So I did 25 sets of 25 sets of 25 reps, and I got that completed. I already had dinner. I'm gonna finish the other half of that tonight. Like I said, I'm gonna do some reading. It was a great chat. I'm just gonna go over the questions that was asked that can come to mind without me scrolling. So, and you know, again, so yeah, take care of yourself. Stay the course. You know, dreams, aspirations, that just don't give up. You know, constantly seek, research, you know, find what it is that you haven't already, you know, if you are unsure, you know what I'm saying? Every waking day is an opportunity to, you know, better oneself, improve your life, you know, take one step at a time. And I'm talking to myself, y'all, you know, like I said, I don't have everything together in my life, point blank, period. You know, a lot of years I wasted with procrastination, being in a certain mindset. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that, you know, I I've done so much to really just prove to oneself everything that I'm saying to you in regard to having such a strong vision of what it is waiting for my arrival and beyond in terms of success and to experience new ways of life. You know, just don't give up on that. That's what I could really say. And fitness has really helped me. Fitness has, and I just want to say this before I close out, has really been my just one of my strongest makeups of what helps me have such a positive way of dealing with life to the ultimate, you know. Just take care of yourself, you know. Don't smoke, don't drink. Start from there. Leave the soda alone, drink more water, take small steps if you haven't already. A day at a time. And this is what I wanted to say too. This is the point I was making. I lost my, not that I lost my train of thought, it's just, you know, when I'm answering these questions and I'm wanting to give, you know, the feedback in a way that you are able to understand me. But I wanted to say, in regard to staying the course and taking these steps, when it comes to fitness, when it, you know, again, this is not for 90 days. This is not for 30 days. You have, I would say, I don't say, you don't have to, I'm not going to say you have to, but I would strongly suggest that you broaden your outlook on giving yourself a very extended vision of the time in which it requires for you to get the gains or results you seek. And with the necessary work, consistency, you will every day improve. If you don't see certain results in the time that your expectations don't deliver, don't give up. Change up your routine. Do something different. Don't move off of desperation. Don't share with everybody your journey. I would also say that, you know, be your best kept secret on your path of developing and changing and doing new things. Change, rearrange the people, places, and things. And when it comes to fitness, like I said, don't have unrealistic expectations. Okay? Especially if you're going to take the route of a natural approach, not taking shortcuts or cutting corners. It's a journey. Remind yourself that. And that journey is taking every day at a time. And do not get discouraged by your own thoughts, because it will happen. There are days when I don't feel like training, and I still show up. And and those are some of my best days, when I don't feel like it. And then when I get started, the beyond satisfaction of doing so is a great feeling that I did not psych myself out. Don't psych yourself out. Yo, this was a great chat today, as always. You know, but today, I appreciate, as always, your questions, your comments, your participation, your support, your showing up. I don't take that lightly, because you could be anywhere. You have a life too. And to show up on 7 Fitness and to have genuine interest, to be able to resonate, you know, all of the above. Much gratitude. And if you chose to subscribe, much gratitude in advance. Appreciate y'all for taking the time out, hitting that like button. Indeed, I do. We're going to get to it, though, y'all. You know, but I definitely will be staying the course of my end. And when I do these lives, it don't just stop here. It gives me something to think about for my own self. And I got a lot of work to do, y'all. Believe me. I don't consider myself an influencer. I'm a realist, man. But I can tell you this one thing for sure. When I get on this camera, and the people that know me in real life does this. It's without a doubt. I'm going to tell you this too. Anybody that you've seen on this channel, speaking of the gentleman who brought up, whether it's Old Dog, Evan, Kareem, and I'm saying the names that's actually been on this channel, the young men, I perform that way in real life. In real life. The same energy on this camera when I'm working out, when I'm conversating with you right now at this very moment, if you was in my presence, it'd be the same exact thing. Anybody you've seen on this channel, there hasn't been many, could co-sign that it's real life energy. I'm gonna leave it at that though, man. And yeah, because you have to have a high level of discernment, whether it's the internet or real life. And when a person's not real with themselves, those individuals will fall the hardest. When you can't admit to oneself, there will be no growth. Life is beautiful, bro. Life is beautiful. This is not a rant, but life is very serious. Yeah. So don't ever mistake me being shrewd or having the serious demeanor. I smile all the time. But I'm going to tell you this, though, speaking of smiling, right? Let me drop a jewel on you, right? First of all, I smile on the inside more than you ever know. Because let me tell you this, though. You got people that smile in people's faces every day. Some of the biggest snakes, some of the most venomous snakes that you cross paths with, that you in the presence of every day, are smiling and stab you in the back. And then you have an individual like me who won't crack a smile. And I ain't got no intentions on harming you, snaking you, doing you dirty, no, none of that. That's what I'm saying. You got to have a high level of discernment. You got to know what you up against out here. You dig? Yo, let me get up out of here, man. This dude don't even know the half, you heard? There's so much I can go on and all that, see, but I don't come through here on no macho, no none of that. You know this internet got something for everybody. You heard? Anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. Yo, big shout out to the chat. I still, appreciate those who are hitting that like button. I see you, man. Yo, I'm out of here, yo. Catch you on the next go around, man. Peace.